Man, you know, that right there, women gonna do what they wanna do anyway. I said, you got your family and things. I said, when your children is little, when they're toddlers and, you know, up to probably when they get about 8 or 10 years old, I said, you can get out there and work you a job, something like 30 days on and 15 days off, or, you know, when you gotta be away from the house, you go up there, you do that type of work and stack your money, because when you get a certain age, you know, you ain't gonna be able to do that. You know, you just temporary, man. You know, by the time when you get, look at from the time that you get, let's say roughly from the time you're 20 years old to the time that you're 60, man, that's about 40 years that you have that's really, I mean, that's provided you take care of yourself. You got 40 years of productivity you have as a man to get out there and get your bag. And by the time you get 40 years old, half your productivity is gone. That's the reason why, man, if you mess around, because I had, man, when I had got divorced from my previous, ran her off, man, when I was 39, you know, 38, I mean, officially.
Right.
You know, and not pretty much, man, I signed my name off the property, which I was, you know, actually, if you want to be technical about it, she really didn't make the money to go ahead and buy the property that we had, because I made the money. But I'm not saying all the years that we shared together was bad, and it's just the fact that I knew that, man, in my heart, that, hey, you know, as a man, I mean, I appreciated the years that we did have together. So I let her go ahead and have, you know, a couple of pieces of property, which, and I found out, man, that's how you can't outgive, you know, YAH'S, because I ended up being blessed when I got with Margaret, ended up accumulating, but it took with me, because I was with a woman for officially 12 years, the previous one, and to accumulate what I had, and I got all that back, man, in less than 3 years, man, when I got with Margaret and stuff. But I used to, like, when I got with Margaret, I told her, look here, show me the real you.
Yeah.
Because I'm already at this halfway point, and I'm starting all over again, basically. And I said, all right, you know.
You ain't got time for games.
I ain't got time to you know, for no foolishness. And this second time around. So that's why I made the statement. You know, at the time you get 40 years old, you know, if you don't have it together, you really seriously need to go ahead and you know, really do some evaluating in your life, because like I said, you only got 20 years left, and that's if you take care of yourself. You know, I'm just fortunate at 65 that I'm still able to get it, but I ain't getting it the way I was like when I was your age and his age. And I'm talking about, man, even all the way to, I slowed down till I got 58, brother. Really. It wasn't enough for me to get out there and work, you know, 80 and 90 hour weeks. Right? I mean, I worked the oil field and the mines and all that, man. It was, you know, sleep, what sleep? But I've always been, I've always had high metabolism. That's the reason why, you know, you see me at, you know, at 65, I've pretty much been weighing, you know, between 180 to 190 pounds. I've been weighing this here, man, since I got out of the military, man.
Wow.
You know, I pretty much stayed, you know, about the same weight, man. But I have to eat. I have to eat.
Hey.
You know, and actually, man, I had a hard time, man. You know, I used to take, when I was in high school, man, and trying to, you know, build bulk, you know, running track, and, you know, trying to play football.
It's hard for you to put muscle on.
Man, I was up there, man, eating beans, they used to have that drink called Waiter and stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
Ad cap, man. And I had a hard time maintaining weight, man. Just, I ate all the time. My parents thought had me go to the doctor and stuff, man. And just worms. They thought I had worms or something, man. And the doctor, I'm like, high metabolism, you'll grow out of it one day. But I guess they just want grown out, man.
But Elder, if you don't mind, will you lead us in prayer? Will you lead us in prayer?
Sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Abba Yahuwah, and our King Kabashiach, we thank you for this day. And please give us the wisdom that we need so preciously there to help us navigate through these here last days that we're in. Definitely, we see your mighty hand, the whole truth to your word there, Abba. And we need all the wisdom we can to navigate because, boy, I'll tell you, we need to listen to your word there and not just go ahead and move so fast. Peace be still. Understand, what Hamashiach was saying, our King was saying. Peace be still. We got to listen to your word and stop getting so fast, making these fast moves. So give us the wisdom that we need in Yahushua's precious name. So be it.
So be it. So, we've been celebrating the Feast of Dedication, or what some people call Hanukkah. And just a quick recap, this time it was in John 10 where they were asking Mashiach, because it's the only time where you see the Feast of Dedication in the text, stop keeping us in doubt. Are you the Mashiach? He responds, I've already told y'all. Like, what more do I have to do? Like, even if you don't believe me, believe the works. Believe it for the work's sake. And today we're going to go over more of the history portion of, or the other side of it. But this is the time to be rededicating the temple, which we know that we are the temple of the Most High. And that was what Mashiach's mission was, to get people to understand or overstand this thing. It's not about a physical building. It's about, in a sense, it's really about individuality, and then in that individuality becoming a community or common unity or a tribe. And then the tribe morphs into a nation. And then the nation morphs into the kingdom, right? So everything's a step, everything's a purpose. And in the last time, we talked about how wicked men of our people wanted to be like the Greeks, right? Wanted to be like everybody else, right? And they got permission from the Greek king to build a place of exercise in the temple, right? And that was the gymnasium. And what did that mean? That was right. It was the naked place, right, where women were not allowed, and it was where older men were grooming younger boys. That's where you get the whole mentor and tormentor, right? So the older men would be the mentor, but to the younger men, they would be their tormentor, right? Because we know where that's going. And I titled that lesson "The Greek Inquisition" because it was illegal for us to follow anything in the book. We had to, sacrifice our sacrifices, right? I brought in an altar and an idol of Zeus into the temple. They put their altar on top of ours and offered swine's flesh on top of that. Many of our people also, we found out that they actually made themselves uncircumcised, literally. It wasn't just a spiritual thing, it was a literal thing, right? And then from there, the persecution started for those of us that were trying to be holy to the Most High. And then they started literally catching wives that were circumcising their children, and then they would hang the children, right, and kill the mothers. So we're going to keep going in this today. We got through, I think, First Maccabees. We also found out that Alexander the Great actually came to Jerusalem, right, Judea. And he actually had given the people the blessing prior to Antiochus Epiphanes coming, right? Because then that's when everything got flipped on its head, because we wanted to be like the other nations. We activate the curses in Leviticus 26 and Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, right? So now we're on First Maccabees 2. First Maccabees 2. I'll start reading, and it says, "In those days rose Mattatias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Yorib from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modim. And he had 5 sons, Johanan, called Caddis, Simon called Thassus, Yehuda or Judas, who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar called Avaran, and Jonathan, whose surname was Aphas, right? Always remember, Judah always must go first. Then it says, and when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, woe is me. Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers. Her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation hath not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? So we're seeing all of this stuff. This is a representation of what Mashiach, when he talks about the children of the kingdom getting sent into outer darkness, right? But this was prior to even Mashiach saying that. Because again, when we activate the curses, when we go into captivity, that is hell, right? It's not just hell theology that they always try to get in our mind. We know that there is a spiritual place. But our people's idea of that, because like even in Isaiah, I believe it is, he says that hell has enlarged itself. Because our people get wicked and we keep going into more and more captivity to the 4 corners of the earth, right? Even when Antiochus and them came, I think they said that he ended up taking, either 1,000 or 10,000 people into captivity from this. And what you always got to remember, like, it started with the Greeks and then it morphed into Rome. That's why it was called the Greco-Roman Empire, because this last beast is more diverse than anything. And then it morphed from a military power to what? To a religious one, because then they would what? They would Christianize everything. They would add Christmas. They would add Thanksgiving. They would add Halloween. All these different things to bring people in, because this is a very subtle and very sophisticated beast, right? And then he said, okay, so we're going to go to the next slide. All her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman, she has become a bondslave. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory, is laid waste. And the Gentiles have profaned it. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. To what end, therefore, shall we live any longer? So it got to the point like our people were seeing so much captivity, so much murder, raping, taking lands, taking everything. Like, what's the point of us living? And we know through our ancestors, what we've seen over here in the Americas and the place that we've had, it's like certain cycles, it feels like they're trying to repeat, right? Then they say, then Matthias and his sons rent their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourned very sore. In the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city, Modim, to make them sacrifice, right? Because you got to remember, in the times of the Gentiles, everything in the temple has become polluted. And that includes us, because we're the temple of the Most High, and they've polluted the understandings of everything. So when you start researching stuff, you're like, wait, this wasn't supposed to be that. They weren't even supposed to be touching this. We were never supposed to be eating that. We were allowed to drink this. Everything's just backwards, right? And getting back to the customs of the book, it's just chewing the cud. It's what we always talk about. Like, well, we got to relook at this thing just to make sure we're getting everything out. And he says again, in the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city of Modim to make them sacrifice. So they're going to make us sacrifice. We know it's going to be the unclean thing, because one thing about the Greeks and the Romans, to them, a holy sacrifice is the pig. And to the Hebrews, to the Israelites, that's the most unclean and abominable thing. Isaiah literally says that when Mashiach comes back, if you're caught eating swine's flesh, you're going to be burned with fire, So then he says, the book says, and when many of Israel came unto them, Matthias also and his sons came together. Then answered the king's officers and said to Matthias on this wise, you are a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. How therefore come you first and fulfill the king's commandment? So you come and do this thing first. You come and make this sacrifice before the people, and everybody gonna fall in line, right? But that's what a lot of our people are. That we just conform to everything, even though if the book tells us not to do it, because it's the Christian thing to do, even though we were never called to be Christians, right? we just weren't. So he wants him to do that thing first, right? Like as he said, now therefore you come you first and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the nations or heathens have done. Yes, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem. So shall you and your house be in the number of the king's friends. So y'all, we're gonna be one. We're gonna be cool, akkad, right? One mind. And you and your children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. Now we know that our people, even today, if they hear this thing, they're gonna conform to whatever. Wait, we get money? Oh, I can get this 360 rep deal? Oh, yeah. You can sign me up for it. Instead of being you holy or separate. But then Matthias answered and spake with a loud voice, though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him and fall away, everyone from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. So basically, these king's officers are what we would have called in the Inquisition inquisitors, right? Y'all come and do this thing first, right? And then his response was, no, me and my tribe, we ain't going for none of that. We gonna serve the Most High. So now this is in the face of them seeing their women and children going into captivity, children getting hung, women getting killed, men getting killed, land getting taken, everything. And in the face of that type of danger, they still stood like men, like, no, we're not doing that. Men of the Most High. This is what the dedication is really about. Are you really going to be dedicated to the Most High when the time comes? When the time comes. It's one world religion, because that's what the Greeks were trying to do. Like, hey, man, everyone else is doing it. Everyone else is Christianizing or whatever else you want to call it. So like, y'all come and do this thing. But we were called to always be separate. And like once you start looking into the history of the Hebrews or whatever, we were always the main ones bucking against this Roman Catholic Christian system. When you really start breaking the stuff down, to the point to where they made sure that they took the Maccabees completely out of the book, right? Completely out of that thing, because they don't want us to know the type of heritage that we really come from, right? The covenant of our fathers. So then he says, actually, go ahead, Ike.
Yah forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinance. We would not hearken to the king's word, to go from our religion, enter on either on the right hand or the left hand.
Boy, that sounds like that's from the book right there.
No way. Mm-mm. Now when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews and decided of all to sacrifice on the altar which was at Modim, according to the king's commandment. So
they heard him make this declaration about his whole tribe, and one of them is like one of these boule gatekeepers, whatever. Like, well, I'm just gonna be like everybody else. Then.
One of them skin folk.
Yeah, one of them skin folk that ain't kinfolk, right?
Which thing when Matthias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled. Neither could he forbear
to show his anger. So he could not show his anger. Like he couldn't stop it. Like, oh, that's it. Y'all heard what I just said, and y'all really gonna do this thing? Got it.
According to the judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. This happened another time before, I forgot what he did.
Yeah, that was one of the Levites. Zimri, I think. No, Phinehas, one of the Levites.
Right.
Yeah.
Knocked him out. Also the king's commissioner who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time at the altar he pulled down.
So he kills the king's officer, and he kills this Hebrew that just wants to conform to everything else because of the zeal of the Most High is on there. Now, Is murdering anybody righteous? Like, is it a good thing to murder nobody? No. But when you're trying to do what's right before the Most High, because like you said, it was done before, because it was like when we were dealing with what was it, the Midianite women and whatnot, and Moses was trying to see which side people were going to be on, and one guy going to bring one of these women in there, knowing that that's against the commandment. Like, hey, what's going on here? So y'all gonna do this thing. So Phinehas got that zeal, and because of that, his line got the everlasting covenant of the priesthood under Levi, right? So it's the same type thing. Go ahead, Elder.
It's, always remember, I get a little bit, sometimes perturbed when people talk about murder and killing. There's a difference,
Well, that's killing, but yeah.
He killed because that wasn't premeditated,
No.
And that thing that he did was so perverted and wicked. Heck, he needed to die. And I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna elaborate.
Because there used to be a movie called A Righteous Kill. Because again, you see your oppressors killing your people, taking your land, raping, robbing, captivity, all this type of stuff, and you just gonna conform, like go against everything that you've been taught when you know the way. Like he had to get him up out of there.
And that's why I tell people, I forgot. Somebody was talking about this, talking about some murder and killing. It's the same thing. Like,
No, it's not.
And I gave an analogy, it's gonna be quick. I said, it's like saying rape and consensual sex is the same thing.
Yeah.
Both is an act of sex, but one is unwarranted.
Right.
Killing can be warranted.
Yep.
Murder is senseless.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
other things as well.
Yeah.
And like I said, but like so much things have been perverted,
Mm-hmm.
and we think, because a life was taken, it's murder.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Because murder is what America did to all those Middle Eastern countries after 9/11 for no reason. That was murder.
Mm-hmm.
That was premeditated for no reason. The people that flew into the tower, man, we all know our government and the Mossad government was behind that thing. Like, right, it wasn't no righteous reason. Not at all. But that's murder, right? So keep going on.
Thus dealt he zealously for the law of Yah, like as Phinehas did unto
Zambri.
Zambri, the son of Solomon.
So he doing it all for the law of the Most High. And then so when you get to the New Testament, because they took this out, like people have that's why they don't have no understanding. Like, we were willing to kill for this thing. We were willing to die for this thing.
Come on, man. Right
Like,
or die.
When you don't have the whole book, you don't have the whole context. And again, like when it comes to rededicating the temple, because we don't know how bad it's going to get here. So that's another thing. Because we were talking about this before we came online. We all need to be making sure that our temples are in better shape, and we're healthy, because we don't know how long or what we may have to end up do when the stuff really hits the fan down here. So we need to take that part of the rededicating your temple seriously. Like, we all got to do better. All of us, myself included. Elder, he brought up a good point. I got married, got a couple kids, and next thing you know, you get comfortable, and you put a little bit of that marriage weight on. It's time for that thing to come off, because I'm telling y'all, men may end up having to be men. We may morph back into a time of the judges again, or it may be another time of the Maccabees. We don't know how this stuff is gonna flip. We just got to be ready no matter which way it go, right? Because like it's understanding like the spiritual nature of things. Our minds got to be straight, our spirits got to be straight, but our bodies have also got to be straight. Because if our people's bodies weren't straight, like the Maccabees and all these other people, they would not have been able to defend our people, right? So we got to be ready when the time comes. Keep going on.
And what was that?
Matthias, yeah.
Matthias cried out. Cried throughout the city with a loud voice saying, "Whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me."
Well, it's about the covenant now. Okay.
So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city.
So it wasn't about their worldly possessions. They weren't worried about losing nothing. They was worried about what? Keeping the covenant. They didn't care about what because he was a wealthy man. Like he was a ruler in Israel. He had many possessions, right? And it wasn't about none of that. And notice, like, They fled to the mountains. So when you get in the New Testament and, they're asking when Mashiach's going to come back and when it's going to be the desolation of the temple, what did he say? He said, flee to the mountains. That was our habit. So he was talking in code to them. This happened before in the Maccabees. Y'all know where y'all supposed to go. We all got to know. You got to have an exit strategy. We all got to be thinking like, okay, if something hits the fan here, we got to have certain things in place because our people always talked in code. Because we were all like in the New Testament and even like at this point in time, we were under oppression, right? What were you going to say, Elder?
I would say that's a good point because that's been our history even during the time of some of the revolts in Haiti.
Yep.
And I want to say over in they call it Jamaica now, over in the Caribbean, the Maroons, which is our bloodline kinfolk. They fled to the mountains.
That's what we do.
When the oppressor came through, and they set up strategies to.
So we would flee to the mountains, and we would be experts in guerrilla warfare.
Guerrilla warfare, that's right.
But now they've made us so docile, we're scared to even carry a gun, knife, anything, right? Because we just, we don't want to get caught with it, even though in a lot of states it's legal to carry it. But we all need to be proficient in all that stuff because, again, we may come into a time to where we have to protect our families. I'm being honest about it. Everybody, every man, like in every tribe should have a sword. And I'm just saying that because a lot of these Christian nationalist extremists, right, are framing it to where it's like this holy war against anything that's against what they deem to be true, right? So like they're framing stuff against like Islam and this and that, but we see the attack on people of color here in America right now. So I'm just saying, be ready, because it's not all white people, it's not all black people, whatever. But you really just don't know with a lot of people, right? You just don't. Well, we'll keep going. 29.
Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there. Both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because affliction increased sore among them.
So they took everything, right? Okay.
Now when it was told the king's servants and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into a secret place in the wilderness. I'm
just going to say this. We cannot be like these ancestors. Keep going.
They pursued after them a great number and have overtaken them. They camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. And they said unto them, let that which ye have done hitherto suffice. Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live. But they said, we will not come forth. Neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day. So then they gave them the battle with all speed.
So they attack us on the Sabbath day and they gave us battle, right? That's why I said we cannot be like these ancestors.
Howbeit they answered them not. Neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the place where they eat.
So they didn't even try to block the way from where they were hiding at or anything. They just let them just come in. Okay.
But said, let us die all in our innocency. So I see. Heaven and earth will testify for us that ye put us down wrongfully.
To death wrongfully.
Put us to death wrongfully. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle, and the number of 1,000 people.
So men weren't even man enough to even protect their household? We can't be like that. Even if we all died, there's no way. You can't just lay down the lives of you like that. That's your future, right? And again, I'm not talking about going and attacking people. I'm talking about defending your own tribe. And this is one of the things when you try to be overly righteous at times. You can't be overly righteous. Sometimes you got to break things down to like the simplest molecule. The Most High does not want all of his people destroyed. Because if all of us die, then that means that his word has become void, right? Because of his word, we have not become consumed, right? Because we're Jacob, right? So again, it don't matter. The Sabbath was created for man, but they were trying to serve the Sabbath. They were kind of thinking backwards, right? It was created for us as a rest day. It don't mean that you can't defend yourself. That's why Mashiach was trying to give us that complete understanding of all things, right? Go ahead, Elder.
But you have to think about Hamashiach, he even scolded our people at the time, during his time, that he walked here on earth and said, hey, y'all, I know how you've been operating. You on the Sabbath, hey, you go out there and if somebody's your ox is stuff, you'll go out there and pull your ox out and anything else that, and then supposedly you go back to doing what, worshiping, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
But these people right here, you gonna let people just walk in and kill you? And the thing, and I understand now what Hamashiach was saying. We got a tendency of wanting to fake the funk.
Yep.
Things that are important, you should get up and take care of.
Because what was the point of leaving the city then? What was the point of leaving everything that they had? Bringing your wives and your children and your cattle just for you to just lay down and give everything, all of your sustenance to them. What was the point?
You could have stayed there.
Yeah, you could have died there. Or you could have lived as a fool. I mean, like, it was point to me. I'm not saying no death is pointless, but that was kind of pointless to me. Something. 39.
Now when
Matthias.
the A storm, y'all, bro. Matthias and his friends understood the hero. They mourned for them right sore. And one of them said unto the other, if we all do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathens, they will now quickly root us out of the earth.
See, they had an understanding in mind, like, wait a minute, if we do this, we all gonna be dead. Ain't no way. June, will you please start reading? But like, this is like almost like a turn the other cheek before it's time type of deal. Like, wait a minute.
Exactly.
Like, y'all realize y'all done fled. Like, y'all know why they coming for y'all. You got to have discernment. You got to have discernment. Because I was looking at that, I'm like, yeah, we can't do. Like, one thing about this quote unquote holy day, right? The Jewish people celebrate this every year. So everything that we're saying, even though we know this is our heritage, they already have that mindset. Because look at the way that they view everyone else. I'm just saying, we can't be so docile to where when stuff hits the fan that we're not willing to bust a grape. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Ad.
At that time, therefore, they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him. Neither will we die all, as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places.
See, like they learn, like, yeah, we ain't doing that. Look, the Most High, he gonna honor this thing. You know, keep going.
Then came there unto him a company of Assaeans, who were mighty men of Israel, even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the law. Also, all they that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them, and were a stay unto them. So they joined their forces and smote sinful men in their anger, and wicked men in their wrath. But the rest fled to the heathen for succor.
The people that couldn't stomach it, running back to the nations, right? Okay.
Then Matthias and his friends went round about and pulled down the altar.
And that's why us as men and as heads of households, we're supposed to be pulling down the altars like that are in our family bloodlines. Once we figure these things out, like, oh no, that's got to go. Nope, we ain't doing that no more. Like that dies here. It's not. It can't go forward because again, this is how many days is this holy day or feast day? 8 days. What does 8 represent?
New beginning.
A new beginning. So it stops with us. Like, no, we ain't doing that no more. We're setting up the traditions of the Most High, or the customs of the Most High, the word of the Most High, right? We're not doing that other stuff no more. We ain't got time for none of that no more. We know that Christmas ain't got nothing to do with us, and ain't got nothing to do with Christ. It's about Satan Claus. We ain't doing none of that nonsense. We ain't got time for that. So glad that holiday is over. So the Assyrians, right? Who were they? The Assyrians they were also spelled Hasidians or Hasidim. The pious were a movement of deeply Torah faithful Jews, active during the early phase of the Maccabean revolt in the 2nd century BCE. They appeared explicitly, of course, in 1 Maccabees 2:42 and 2 Maccabees 2:14 and 6. It says, what defined them, right? They radical devotion to the Torah. They observed Sabbath, circumcision, dietary laws, right? They refused Hellenization at any cost. They chose death rather than violate the law. And you want to tell me in the New Testament is done away with? That don't make sense. It don't. They are the kind of people later texts call martyrs, right? They predate the armed revolt, so they were prior to the Maccabees. The Assyrians existed before Yehuda Maccabee took arms. They were teachers, elders, scribes, community leaders. When persecution escalated, they joined the Maccabees, not the other way around. And so another thing, once they joined the Maccabees, that's what really gave the Maccabees legitimacy when you start looking into what Josephus and all them other people were saying. Like once they joined it, it was like, oh, so this is a holy thing. It was like it's a holy war at that point in time, right? So these were some of the most devout worshipers of the Most High, right? The Assyrians. Keep going on.
And what children soever they found within the coast of Israel uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly. They pursued also after the proud men, and the work
prospered
in their hand. So they received the law.
Recovered
the law out of the hand of the Gentiles and out of the hand of the kings. Neither suffered they the sinner to triumph.
Hallelujah. Keep going.
Now, when the time drew near that Matthias should die, he said unto his sons, now hath pride and rebuke gotten strength, and the time of destruction and the wrath of indignation. Now, therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers.
They were willing to die for this thing. What are you dedicated to? I got it. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So shall you receive great honor and an everlasting name. We're reading about them now. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness? Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment and was made master of Egypt. Phinehas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Yahusha, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel. This is not Mashiach. Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land. And he actually became reckoned as a Jew, even though, or of the tribe of Judah, even though he was an Edomite, right? David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven. That's Elijah or Eliyahu. And Ananias, Azarias, and Mishael, or Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, by believing, were saved out of the flame. Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions. And thus consider you throughout all ages, that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome. He on this deathbed, like, trust in the Most High. Most High over everything. Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung and worms. Today he shall be lifted up, And tomorrow he shall not be found, because he is returned into his dust, and his thought is come to nothing. Wherefore, you, my sons, be valiant and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law. So even when you get into the Inquisition, our people didn't even have this mindset even then, right? Because they wanted to be right with the Christians and right into all that stuff instead of showing themselves men, right? For by it shall you obtain glory. And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel. Give ear unto him always. He shall be a father unto you. As for Yehuda Maccabee, he have been mighty and strong even from his youth. Let him be your captain and fight the battle of the people. Judah always goes first. Take also unto you all those that observe the law, and avenge you the wrong of your people. Recompense fully the heathen, and take heed to the commandments of the law. So he blessed them and was gathered to his fathers. And he died in the 146th year. And the sons buried him in the sepulchres of his fathers at Modim. And all Israel made great lamentation for him.
46 years.
Well, in the 146th year. Yeah. So that happens, right? So I want to give you a little bit more detail. So we're going to go to the Antiquities of the Jews, book 12, chapter 6, right? And then, as I know how y'all complain about the font. I remember how y'all did that. I see his eyes got real big. What's up, Eddie?
Hey, I don't know if anybody was aware of it, but I'm just kind of just a note. Only YAH'S can come up with that nickname. You know, and it's common. You know, we nickname our children. That's kind of part of our culture.
Yep.
But his name means the hammer.
Hammer.
That's
Hammer.
That's what it means. In,
Judah the Hammer, right?
And so I mean, it kind of reminds what they, that name is played before. But what they used to call Fred Williams there was played for the Oakland Raiders.
Yep.
Called him the Hammer.
Look, the book said that we are his battle axe and weapon of war. That's a bigger hammer. I'm trying to tell you. You're right. You're right.
So Judah Maccabee, that's the same. That's not. He's named after.
It's a nickname.
So his name, he was called Maccabeus, but his name was Judah. Like, but what are you asking? My bad. What are you asking?
Yeah, so like the tribe of Judah, that's not the same.
He's not in the tribe of Judah. No. But his name is Judah, and he's the one that became the first leader once his dad died.
Yeah.
That's why I said Judah. Even if you got that name, like you got to go first, and he's the first leader of the Maccabees, right?
Yeah.
So then it says, now at this time there was one whose name was Matthias, right? We read some of this. I'm going to try to go through this kind of fast. Who dwelt at Modim, the son of John, the son of Simeon, the son of Asamoneus, a priest of the order of Joreb, and a citizen of Jerusalem. He had 5 sons: John, who was called Cadiz, and Simon, who was called Matthias, and Judas, who was called Maccabeus, and Eleazar, who was called Aran, and Jonathan, who was called Aphas. Now this Matthias lamented to his children the sad state of their affairs, and the ravage made in the city, and the plundering of the temple, and the calamities the multitudes were under. And he told them that it was better for them to die for the laws of their country than to live so ingloriously as they did. So it's better for them to die for the Most High than to live in that chaos. But when those that were appointed by the king were come to Modim, that they might compel the Jews to do what they were commanded, and to enjoin those that were there to offer sacrifice, as the king had commanded, they desired that Matthias, a person of the greatest character among them, so his character was above reproach, both on other accounts, and particularly on account of such a numerous and so deserving a family of children, so they're a renowned family, will begin the sacrifice, because his fellow citizens would follow his example. We're always the example. And because such a procedure would make him honored by the king, but Matthias said he would not do it, and that if all the other nations would obey the commands of Antiochus, either out of fear or to please him, yet would not he nor his sons leave the religious worship of their country, But as soon as he had ended his speech, there came one of the Jews into the midst of them and sacrificed, as Antiochus had commanded. So right after he says that again, right? Then he says, at which Matthias had great indignation and ran upon him violently with his sons, who had swords with them, and slew both the man himself that sacrificed, and Apelles the king's general, who compelled them to sacrifice with a few of his soldiers. He also overthrew the idol altar and cried out, if, said he, anyone be zealous for the laws of his country and for the worship of Yah, let him follow me. This is all about worshiping the Most High. And when he had said this, he made haste into the desert with his sons and left all his substance in the village. Many others did the same also, and fled with their children and wives into the desert and dwelt in caves. That's what the secret places are. But when the king's generals heard this, they took all the forces then they had in the citadel at Jerusalem and pursued the Jews into the desert. And when they had overtaken them, they, in the first place, endeavored to persuade them to repent and to choose what was most for their advantage, and not put them to the necessity of using them according to the law of war. But when they would not comply with their persuasions, but continued to be of a different mind, they fought against them on the Sabbath day, and they burnt them. That's how they killed them. As they were in the caves, without resistance, and without so much as stopping by the entrances of the cave. So it wasn't just that they died, they burnt them alive. So because the men wouldn't fight, they got to see their women and children burnt alive. I don't know about y'all, I ain't going for none of that. I'm not going for none of that nonsense. Because when I read this, I was like, oh man, it wasn't just that they killed him. It wasn't just like a sword getting thrust through. No, they burnt alive. That's
Is this part of an apocryphal book too?
no. This is the actual historian Joseph, the Jewish historian Josephus. This is how he recorded that. What happened then?
So Josephus actually, he was one of our people.
I'm just gonna say he was a Jewish historian because it's debated on if he was actually of the line of Judah. He may have been a Gentile that called himself a Jew. So I don't know. But he is like the lead historian of that time for all of this stuff that was going on, right? Even like chronicling the stuff that happened with he wrote a little bit about Mashiach, and he wrote about Moses. He wrote about all like his antiquity of the Jews, because I pulled it out certain times just to give y'all more context on stuff. But I wanted y'all to see that they didn't fight back and they got burned alive. We can't be that kind of ancestor. That's what I'm trying to say. Inside of a cave. Yeah, you can't do that. Huh? Boy.
Yeah.
Boy, burned alive. That's literally hell. And they avoided to defend themselves on that day because they were not willing to break in upon the honor they owed the Sabbath. Even such distresses, for our law requires that we rest upon that day. There were about 1,000 with their wives and children who were smothered and died in these caves. But many of those that escaped joined themselves to Matthias and appointed him to be their ruler. And Matthias, it says what? Who taught them to fight, even on the Sabbath day, and told them that unless they would do so, they will become their own enemies by observing the law so rigorously. Even he's like, you can't be that rigid on the law. I know it says don't carry no burden on the Sabbath, but doggone circumstances dictate different things sometimes. You have to have discernment. That's what you talk about, the letter of the law, not understanding the spirit behind the law. Like if you ain't got nothing going on, worship the Most High, rest on that day. But if you got wolves that done come to the hen house, you might want to fight, unless you be burned alive. All right. So again, he says, unless they do so, they would do so. They will become their own enemies by observing the law so rigorously, while their adversaries would still assault them on this day, and they would not then defend themselves, and that nothing could then hinder, but they must all perish without fighting. This speech persuaded them And this rule continues among us to this day. To this day. That if there be a necessity, right, we may fight on Sabbath day. So that's how crazy it is. So they're going to get mad about Mashiach and them getting corn on the Sabbath day and all this other type of stuff when this law was already in place during that time. Right? Like, no, we're going to do what's needful on the Shabbat. Because the Shabbat was created for us. It's not supposed to be a taskmaster to you. Like, that people are weird, man. on Sabbath day. So Mattathias got a great army about him and overthrew their idol altars and slew those that break the laws, even all that he could under his power. For many of them were dispersed among the nations round about them for fear of him. So they was running. He also commanded that those boys which were not yet circumcised should be circumcised now. And he drove those away that were appointed to hinder such their circumcision. Like, you better get up out of here. This is not that. It's not that kind of party. But when he had ruled for 1 year and was fallen into a distemper, so he got sick, he called for his sons and set them round about him and said, I want y'all to pay attention to what he says. Now, he knows he's getting ready to die, right? O my sons, I am going the way of all the earth, and I recommend to you my resolution, and beseech you not to be negligent in keeping it, but to be mindful of the desires of him who begat you. So think of me, and brought you up, and to preserve the customs of your country, of your own people, and to recover your ancient form of government. Don't Americanize. Which is in danger of being overturned, and not to be carried away with those that, either by their own inclination or out of necessity, betray it, but to become such sons as are worthy of me, to be above all force and necessity, and so to dispose your souls as to be ready when it shall be necessary to die for your laws, as sensible of this by just reasoning, that if Elohim see that you are so disposed, he will not overlook you, but will have a great value for your virtue and will restore to you again what you have lost. Have faith in the Most High, trust in him, and will return to you that freedom in which you shall live quietly and enjoy your own customs. Your bodies are mortal and subject to fate, but they receive a sort of immortality by the remembrance of what actions they have done. And I would have you so in love with this immortality, so don't worry about dying, that you may pursue after glory, and that when you have undergone the greatest difficulties, you may not scruple for such things to lose your lives. I exhort you especially to agree one with another, and in what excellence any of you exceeds another, to yield to him so far. And by that means to reap the advantage of everyone's own virtue. So figure out who's best at what, right? And fully function as one body, right? Do you even esteem Simon as your father? Because he is a man of extraordinary prudence, and be governed by him. In what counsels he gives you. Take Maccabeus the hammer for the general of your army, because of his courage and strength, for he will avenge your nation and will bring vengeance on your enemies. Admit among you the righteous and religious, and augment their power. All right. So I just want y'all to see that back, so they got burned alive and whatnot. And his actual final words to his sons, right? Now, bam, if you don't mind reading, we're going to really start, we're going to relearn about Yehuda Maccabee. So now we're in 1 Maccabees 3. Go ahead, Ike.
Then his son, Judas, called Maccabees, rolled up in his stead. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And all his brethren helped him, and so did all they that held with his father, and they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel. So he got his people together, great honor, and put a breastplate of as a giant, and girt his, what's the word?
And girt
And girt his
warlike.
harness about him. And he made battles, protected the host with his sword.
So it was almost like when he was putting that breastplate on and everything like a giant. Like it was almost like, you know, certain people, they say they larger than life. Well, that's what he was called, the hammer. Because like by the time you get done reading about him, like everybody feared him. Like he was that guy. He was Timothy for real, right?
In his act, he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelping reward for his prey. For he pursued the wicked and sought them out and burnt up those that vexed his people.
So y'all burnt our people, I'm gonna burn y'all up too.
Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand.
So salvation's not always a spiritual thing then. So there's a physical salvation too. But in the Christian church, you only think about the spiritual one. Right?
The sword was in his hand.
Bro, salvation was in the land. That goes back to Luke 1, right? To be able to worship your Elohim without fear, right? In Luke 1. Keep going.
He grieved also many kings and made Jacob glad with his acts, and his memorial is blessed forever. Moreover, he went through the cities of Judah, destroying the unholy out of them, and turning away wrath from Israel.
Right.
So that he was renowned unto the utmost part of the earth, and he received unto him such as were ready to
perish.
perish.
So if they came to him like, all right, well, I guess you're ready to die then. this is it.
Was it Apollonius? Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together in a great host of Samaria to fight against Israel.
So I'm going to ask y'all again, what is Samaria? Northern tribes, right? So when you get into the New Testament, that's why they were asking Mashiach, like, man, how long are you going to keep us in doubt, this and that? And he's like, I've already told y'all that I am the Messiah. I am him. Believe the very works. But what they were looking for was, they were looking for a David. They were looking for the time of the judges. They were looking for a Maccabee. They didn't realize that Mashiach first had to come as the suffering servant, right? Because they were looking for that physical salvation that's not taught about in the church, right? Everything's overly spiritualized. But that's why, because they're like, well, he can't be, because like that's why, like when they did that procession and then they started calling him King of the Jews and this and that, because that's what they thought. They thought it was time to go to war. That's what they were waiting on, right?
It wasn't time.
It wasn't that time.
It's me.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know we trying to slide. Okay. Which thing did Judas perceive? He went forth to meet him, and so he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down slain, but the rest fled. Wherefore Judas took the spoils, and Apollonius,
Apollonius? Yeah, Apollonius, yeah.
Apollonius sword also. And therefore with they fought all his life long.
So he was just known as a fighter, right? So back in the ancient culture, whenever you slew somebody and you took their sword, that means you took their power and authority.
Yeah.
That's why, like when he did that, because you coming against this guy, and he started to be known, especially like in our people, but you know the Greeks started hearing about him, like, okay, well let's here comes Apollonius, right? And that's kind of like a symbol of us, or that he was finally conquering this Greco-Roman beast in the end, right? But you see what he does, right? Keep going, because
I never heard him take nobody's. Like I know they always take the spoil, like to take the
David took Goliath's sword.
Yeah, that's
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
that's
David took Goliath's sword.
that's in the culture, bro.
Mm-hmm. That's what we do. And then you start killing people with it. They own people with it. Just saying.
Yeah, well, I swear that was.
In war, of course.
Now when Rome, a prince of the army of Syria, heard it say that Judas had gathered unto him a multitude and company of the faithful to go out with him to war, he said, I will give me a name and honor in the kingdom.
Boy, you better not.
For I will go fight with Judas and them that are with him, who despise the king's commandment.
So he just trying to get a name. It ain't no righteousness behind it. It ain't nothing good. He's like, oh man, but if I get him and I'll get all this wealth and money and popularity and fame. Oh yeah, I want it all. Money.
So I want some of that.
Yeah, I need that. Okay, we're gonna find out.
So he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of the ungodly to help him, and to be avenged of the children of Israel. So he went with ungodly people.
Yeah. But he want to get a name, and he gonna get one. He gonna get a name. He gonna get a name.
And when he came into the going up of
Beth Horon.
Betharon, Jews went forth to meet him with a small company, who, when they saw the host coming to meet him,
Listen to his words. Listen to his words.
said unto Judah, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against so great a multitude and so strong? Seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day. Also, he said, I ain't ate that.
Right.
And to whom Jews answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few. And with the God of heaven, it is all one, to deliver with a great multitude a small company. For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven.
Yes, it does.
Straight up faith.
Mm-hmm.
They came against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us and our wives and children and to spoil us.
So they fighting for a purpose because they don't want their women and children and to just die, right? They got a reason. They got a purpose, you know. Everything's about the covenant, right? Because strength comes from the Most High. You heard him say it? Mm-hmm. You want June to read or you got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we fight for our lives and our law. Wherefore Yah himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them.
Were we given a spirit of fear?
No.
But fear and dread was added for our benefit. Y'all remember that. Keep going.
You said it was added for our benefit.
Fear and dread. Because when you're righteous before the Most High, the fear and the dread of you goes on the nations. And you're about to read it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now as soon as he had left off speaking, he left suddenly upon them. And so Sarai and his host was overthrown before him.
So he makes this epic speech. Yeah, don't be afraid of them. You know, strength comes from the Most High. And then he immediately just runs and jumps at them. Ain't scared of nothing, bruh. Like, if I die, I die. It's to the Most High. Ain't scared of nothing. Keep going.
And they pursued them from the going down of
Betharon.
unto the plain, where were slain about 800 men of them, and they was
Residue
fled into the land of the Palestinians. They began to fear.
Slow down.
They began to fear Judah and his brethren, and exceeding great dread to fall upon them the nations round about them.
So then the fear and dread of them is just on every, like, did y'all hear what they just did to them? Like, he didn't kill 2 different captains and like thousands of people at this point, right? Just going around and just with small numbers of people doing, having, I don't want to call them out of body experiences, but then doing superhuman things. So the Maccabees would be what you would literally call like a hero or a Hebrew, a super Hebrew is what I want to call them, right? Because
so the dude, so he told me he trying to have a great name with the ungodly men. So like you said, he gave him his whole speech. He decided he's gonna kill him. I'm gonna try to kill you.
yeah, that one guy, yeah. He wanted to have a name, yeah. That ain't no good.
Insomuch as his fame came unto the king, and all nations talked of the battles of Judah. Now when the king
Antiochus
heard these things, he was full of indignation. Wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army.
So he got everybody in this thing.
Everything. He opened also his treasure and gave his soldiers pay for a year, commanding them to be ready whensoever he should need them. Verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasures failed, and that the tributes in the country were small because of the
dissension
and plague which he had brought up on the land, and taking away the law which had been of old time.
Because we know that on that land you got to be righteous and holy, or bad stuff starts happening, right?
So he was in Jerusalem area.
Well, I want to. Well, probably not at this point in time, but I'm. The law of that land. But even we know that the Most High, He gave different sons of God or angels to every nation. So what did they do? They took all of the other gods out, and then they're not receiving the same honor that they would normally get, right?
Gotcha.
So certain things end up happening, like. Mm-hmm.
He feared that he should not be able to bear the changes any longer, nor to have such gifts to give so liberally as he did before. For he had abandoned above the kings that were before him. So
he was like, man, I don't think I can afford paying these people no more. I'm going to have to do something to get my money up. I got to get my money up, right? So I'll read this slide. He says, wherefore, being greatly perplexed in his mind, he determined to go into Persia, there to take the tributes of the countries and to gather much money. So he left Lysias, a nobleman, and one of the royal bloodline, to oversee the affairs of the king from the river Euphrates unto the border of Egypt, and to bring up his son Antiochus until he came again. Moreover, he delivered unto him the half of his forces and the elephants, and gave him charges of all things that he would have done, as also concerning them that dwelt in Judah and Jerusalem, to wit, that he should send an army against them to destroy and root out the strength of Israel and the remnant of Jerusalem, and to take away their memorial from that place. So they wanted to completely root us out. That's the whole reason why they do not want us to come together now as a nation, because it took them a long time to fully sever that bond between us, right? The Greco-Roman Empire after Alexander has always hated us. Yeah. And then he says, and that he should place strangers in all their quarters and divide their land by lot. So they wanted to replace us with some other people that shouldn't be there. Same plan. It's literally the same thing. Everything's just a rehash. So the king took the half of the forces that remained and departed from Antioch. We created Antioch, his royal city, the 147th year. And having passed the river Euphrates, he went through the high countries. Then Lysias chose Ptolemy, the son of Dormenes, Nicanor, and Gorgias, mighty men of the king's friends. And with them he sent 40,000 footmen, 40,000, and 7,000 horsemen, so that's 47, to go into the land of Judah and to destroy it as the king commanded. So 47 grand. So they went forth with all their power and came and pitched by Emmaus in the plain of the country, or in the plain country. And the merchants of the country, so they were so confident that they were going to beat our people. Look what these merchants do. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. They knew they was going to whoop us. So they was ready to buy us as slaves at that point in time. A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them. Syria, land of the Philistines. Now when Yehuda and his brethren saw that the miseries were multiplied, and that the forces did encamp themselves in their borders, for they knew how the king had given commandment to destroy the people and utterly abolish them, kick them out of the land. They said one to another, let us restore the decayed fortune of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary. They had a reason to fight. right? Then was the congregation gathered together, that they might be ready for battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion. They doing the right thing. You get together. That's way more than 2 or 3 coming before the Most High. So he's in the midst of that thing. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness. Tohu bohu. There was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens kept the stronghold. The heathen had their habitation in that place, and joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased. So again, they thought that they were just going to just take us as slaves. Like, yeah, we're going to get them. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Mashpha, over against Jerusalem, for in Mashpha was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. Then they fasted that day, and put on sackcloth, and cast ashes upon their heads, and rent their clothes, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. Is that not what they do now? Charlton Heston, 10 Commandments, right? All these different movies and books, and like they're the people, you know. The only time we're in there, we're just carrying the cross of Mashiach. That's it, you know. Nothing good, right? They brought also the priest's garments, and the first fruits, and the tithes, and the Nazarites they stirred up, who had accomplished their days. Then cried they with a loud voice toward heaven, saying, what shall we do with these? And whither shall we carry them away? Like, what are we going to do? For your sanctuary is trodden down and profaned, and your priests are in heaviness and brought low. And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagine against us, you know. How shall we be able to stand against them, except you, O Yah, be our help? They know what to do. They know what to do. They're always grounded and rooted in this thing. Then sounded they with trumpets, and cried with a loud voice. And after this, Yehuda ordained captains over the people, even captains over thousands, and over hundreds, and over 50s, and over 10s. Za'aking to the Most High, especially in times of trouble. That's a prophecy of Yaakov. But as for such as were building houses, or had betrothed wives, or were planting vineyards, or were fearful, those he commanded that they should return, every man to his own house, according to the law. Why didn't he keep those that were fearful? That probably would have been a few more thousand people.
Why did he?
Why didn't he? I'm just asking.
Why didn't he keep the ones of our brother that was fearful?
Mm-hmm.
The same reason that back in our in reading our Torah, when you had when they had to go to the river.
Yep.
And Yah commanded, said
Gideon,
have
right?
Have them go to the
lap like a dog.
The water, and those that drank it, those of them that picked it and the water it happened was vigilant looking, and those that lapped it like dogs, he said, don't use them. The ones that picked the water up there, and he said use them. So it's basically the same thing. He didn't want. There was a way of weeding out those that had a weak heart.
Right, because like fearful is a lack of faith. Mm-hmm. Could Mashiach do many miracles when people didn't have faith? No. Same concept, right? Mm-hmm. So if you ain't got the faith or the fear in the Most High, then y'all go ahead, go on about y'all business. Y'all do what y'all got to do then. But we gonna do what we got to do, right? So the camp removed and pitched upon the south side of Emmaus. And Yehuda said, arm yourselves and be valiant men, and see that you be in readiness against the morning, that you may fight with these nations that are assembled together against us to destroy us and our sanctuary. For it is better for us to die in battle than to behold the calamities of our people and our sanctuary. Nevertheless, as the will of God is in heaven, so let him do. Right? So that's all of First Maccabees chapter 3. We're gonna do this last one, chapter 4, and we'll call it for a day. So First Maccabees chapter 4. Then took Gorgias 5,000 footmen and 1,000 of his best horsemen, and removed out of the camp by night. So then they're gonna try to do some slick stuff. So if they had 47, that's about 6,000. So now they got about 41 left. To the end, he might rush in upon the camp of the Jews and smite them subtly. And the men of the fortress were his guides. Now when Yehuda heard thereof, he himself removed, and the valiant men with him, that he might smite the king's army, which was at Emas, while as yet the forces were dispersed from the camp. In the main season came Gorgias by night into the camp of Yehuda. And when he found no man there, because we got out of there, he sought them in the mountains. For he said, these fellows flee from us. Because again, we were masters in guerrilla warfare. If you don't mind, go ahead.
But as soon as it was day, Judas showed himself in the plain with 3,000 men. Who nevertheless had neither armor nor swords to their minds.
So you against 47,000, you only got $3,000. That's crazy. All right.
And they saw the camp of the heathen, that it was strong and well harnessed, and compassed round about with horsemen. And these were expert of war. Then said Judas to the men that were with him, fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault.
No fear.
Remember how our fathers delivered in the Red Sea.
Yep.
When Pharaoh pursued them with an army.
Because again, we were not given the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So again, that's why those that were fearful had to get up out of there. You're going to mess everything up. Because your fear is going to jump into somebody else, and next thing you know, you can't fight nobody. You're going to flee before your enemy 7 ways.
That's a foul spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, therefore, let us cry unto heaven. If,
Peradventure,
Yahuwah will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy this host before our face this day.
So they didn't have no swords or shields on their minds, but they trusted in the Most High, right? Keep going.
That so all the heathen may know that there is one who delivereth and saveth Israel.
Hallelujah. Keep going.
Then the strangers lifted up their eyes and saw them coming over against them. Wherefore they went out of the camp to battle. But they that were with Judas sounded their trumpets. So they joined battle. And the heathen, being discomfited, fled into the plain. Howbeit all the
Hindmost, or the ones behind,
were slain with sword, for they pursued them unto
Gezerah.
And unto the plains of Idumea.
Yep.
And Azotus, and Jamnia. So that there were slain of them upon 3,000.
So they only had 3,000 and they killed 3,000 of the bad boys, right? A literal eye for an eye, right? Okay.
This done, Judas returned again with the host from pursuing them, and said unto the people, be not greedy of the spoil, insomuch as there is a battle before us.
Because there's still about 44,000 left.
And Gorgias and his host are here by us in the mountain. But stand ye now against our enemies, and overcome them. And after this ye may boldly take the spoils. As Judas was yet speaking these words, there appeared a part of them looking out of the mountain, who, when they perceived that the Jews had put their host to flight and were burning the tents, for the smoke that was seen declared what was done. When therefore they perceived these things, they were sore afraid, and seeing also the host of Judas in the plain ready to fight.
So they was ready, like war ready.
They fled every one into the land of strangers.
Now, how could 3,000 make 44,000 people just flee, unless the Most High got your bag? What'd you say?
I was just gonna say, he don't count numbers, he make numbers count.
He make numbers count.
That was his promise there. I think in Deuteronomy.
Mm-hmm.
But he said if we keep his laws, statutes, commandments, he said that few numbers of us are going to put to flight many.
Look.
But if we forsook his laws, statutes, commandments, he said the sound of a leaf rustling in the wind was going to terrify you.
Yep. We just running to and fro like, oh, I gotta go for no reason. Yep.
Then Judas returned to spoil the tents, where they got much gold and silver, and blue silk, and purple of the sea, and great riches. After this, they went home and sung a song of thanksgiving and praised the Lord in heaven, because it is good.
Because his mercy endures forever. Hallelujah.
True Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Now that's a Thanksgiving.
Thus Israel had a great deliverance that day.
Hallelujah.
Now all the strangers that had escaped came and told Lysias what had happened.
What had happened was, that's how you know we the people. They talk like us.
Who, when he heard thereof, was confounded and discouraged, because neither such things as he would were done unto Israel, nor such things as the king commanded him were come to pass. The next year, therefore, following Lysias, gathered together 70,000 choice men of foot.
How many men is that?
70 is 60.
So 60,000. And that's only footmen.
And 5,000 horsemen, that he might subdue them. So they came into Idumea and pitched their tents at Bethsura, and Judas met them with 10,000 men.
Who is Idumea?
That's Esau.
Esau.
So
they go up in Esau and they.
So I just have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
You think that our uncle's children? You think that they was in on the
Oh yeah. They was definitely in that. Oh yeah. They pitching in Idumea. They was helping them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You know they want us to be out that thing. Like, yeah, get them out of here, man. That's literally what you call a blood feud. Like that ain't gonna be over until Mashiach come back. Period.
And when he saw that mighty army, he prayed and said, Blessed art thou, O Savior of Israel, who didst quell the violence of mighty man by the hand of thy servant David, and gavest the host of strangers into the hands of Jonathan, the son of Saul, and his armor bearer.
But like, look at the kind of faith he got. He ain't scared of nothing. He blessing the Most High after he sees 65,000 people coming against him.
Yes, sir.
So what?
He was like, yes, sir.
It's that time.
Show what you got.
He said, I got time today. Go ahead.
Shut up this army in the hand of thy people Israel,
Man.
and let them be confounded in their power and horsemen.
Look at his prayer. Look at his faith in the Most High.
Make them to be of no courage, and cause the boldness of their strength to fall away, and let them quake at their destruction. Cast them down with the sword of them that love thee, and let all those that know thy name praise thee with thanksgiving.
Hallelujah.
So they joined battle, and there were slain of the host of Lysias about 5,000 men. Even before them were they slain.
So from 65 to 60. Okay.
And the thing about, I'm saying it right quick, you see how collectively we come together, we got the power, we can curse our enemies.
Yep.
That's
what he just did.
That's a curse, you know, in righteousness.
That's what he just did.
In righteousness, that was a curse in righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see, that's what they're scared of. These our enemies right now. They're scared of, you know, and that's why they try to keep us divided.
Yep.
Because they know what's coming down the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
The longer they can keep us.
I knew he was gonna love it when we started on this. I knew it. I knew you was gonna love this. I knew it.
I was telling somebody about that sometime last week, like the main thing that the enemy has done has separated us.
Yeah.
To keep us coming together. One of my coworkers said, as long as they can keep us at each other's throat
Yep.
and separated and not focusing on coming together and
Yeah.
arguing under one voice to cry out to the Most High, like was done in Egypt back when Moses was going to do what he did. Like the Most High didn't seek for Moses or sought. He wasn't sought after Moses until Israel came together and cried out to him, and he remembered his covenant with them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the main weapons the enemy has, is to keep that separation, keep us at each other's throats and
Yep.
away from each other.
Yep. They have to make us hate ourselves and love they will. Kanye said that.
Yeah, and that's evident right here.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm at.
35.
35. Now when Lysias saw his army put to flight, and the manliness of Judas' soldiers,
It wasn't no toxic masculinity, but men was men.
and how they were ready either to live or die valiantly,
Yeah. You might take me out, but I'm taking y'all with me.
and went to Antioch and gathered together a company of strangers, and having made his army greater than it was, he proposed to come again unto Judea.
Well, he a slow learner. Bam, you mind reading? Yeah. You look like you was itching for it.
Then said Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate this sanctuary.
Right. So this is where you get the length of days in this thing. Keep going.
Upon this, all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up into Mount Sinai. The Zion?
Yeah, same thing.
And when they saw the sanctuary desolate and the altar profane and the gate, so they pretty much went back to go.
Yeah, because now they've beaten all the areas around it, and so again, the Maccabees, they recaptured the temple. Right. That's what this whole thing is about. Dedication.
Gotcha. Okay. And when they saw that the sanctuary was desolate and the altar profane and the gates burned up and shrubs grown in the courts of the as in a forest, or in one of the mounts, yea, and the priests' chambers pulled down. They rent their clothes and made great lamentations and cast ashes upon their heads. Is that a Hebrew idiom, or this is quite
No, that's a literal thing.
Yeah, I know.
That just means like that just means like that you're in a mourning state. You're just submitting to the Most High. You're letting them know, hey, we can't do this thing without you. But that was like one of our customs.
That's what I was.
Because we would put on sackcloth, and then we would literally like ashes, or like they would literally grab dirt sometimes and just throw it on their head, like woe is me, like oh man, we're basically just like the dirt, like we're dead because we're dead. If you don't intervene now, we're dead. We're like this dust right here. So
That's what I was asking. I said, was it an idiom? Because I know what it means, but I was like,
no,
hey,
that's literal. That's
right.
literal.
Okay.
Put that in the game. Let's go.
Say what?
So they'll put that in the game. We'll talk afterwards.
Okay. Yeah. We definitely gonna talk about that then. No, talk about it now. Talk about it now. I knew you was gonna say God of War.
I thought those.
I knew you was gonna say God of War. Talking to Mike. Yeah.
I thought that too.
Mhm.
In the game, Kratos killed when he was killing for other gods, he ended up killing, slaughtering his own family, blind.
Yeah, I remember that one.
His child. So a witch cursed him and put the ashes of his wife and child
On
his
skin. That's why it's white, right?
Yep, to bear him for the rest of his life, to bear his shame for the rest of his life.
Yep.
But he's still okay. All right. And fell down flat on the ground upon their faces, and blew an alarm with the trumpets and cried toward heaven. So in this time, like I know, like this is popular. Like so, this you said the time where the Most High didn't raise the judges.
So I wouldn't necessarily, because like this was after the time of the judges, right? But he still raised up saviors of his own people for salvation. So again, like according to like the prophecy of Jacob and all this other type thing, like in the text it literally keeps saying that he's going to keep raising up one of your own people to save you. So like that's why I always try to tell you, like tell people, if you think that the Most High is going to raise up somebody of another nation to save you, y'all crazy, because the book said he's going to raise up one of your own people, right? So yeah, he raises saviors in Israel because we were created for that. Like, we were created to be saviors or to be saved, to be honest. But like that's really what this holiday is about. It's about a type of salvation. Of course, we know that it comes through Mashiach, but eventually, when he comes back, it's going to be in the same form as the Maccabees. Like vesture dipped in blood. He ain't gonna be for none of the small talk. He ain't gonna come for none of that. Like.
I kind of see I see it slowly coming together right now, and I mean, because it really is.
Yeah.
The time right now, our great men of war, they're playing sports
And our people, they don't understand. I'm like,
and that's gonna stop. I guarantee you, that's on its way out. Slow but steady. You see a lot of that.
and I'm trying to tell, like, this is the reason why Trump, and like people don't talk about this. That's one of the main reasons why Trump wants America to be number one in AI, because they already got these AI robots and this and that. Because just like he just said, those are supposed to be our warriors. Like, think about all the basketball players, football players, professional baseball players that we have. Best athletes and everything, best wrestlers, best everything. Right? Think about how many Maccabees could be involved in them.
Right.
Or Samsons, Naphtali, Gad, Simeon.
Jumping over walls.
Bruh. Bro, like,
Athletic. Like,
have no idea, but we become so docile. Like, again, they wouldn't even defend their family to where they all burned to death, bro. To me, that's wild. I ain't going for that. I'm just gonna let y'all know that. Like, you. So what? Nah, y'all gonna have to. If y'all gonna have to kill me. I'm trying to tell you.
But the thing about it, it was all prophesized even at that point because of our wickedness.
Yeah.
We're gonna be, a lot of us are gonna be like cowards. How the heck?
Yeah, they said we would be as women. Yep.
How the heck, man? When you had at one time in the United States during when our people were before we were emancipated,
Mm-hmm.
you have more Israelite blood-born descendants of Israel in this nation than any of the so-called white Europeans.
Right.
How can doggone 5 people on a plantation subdue 1,200?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Black folks.
Like, you
man.
start looking at that number, it's like, yo, this is insane. Because we were given the spirit of fear at that time.
And I'm just gonna say, like they say, like, okay, we just gonna let y'all do it because we're a holy people. But like you said, sometimes it's time, kids, a time for all this stuff.
For everything, there's a time and a season.
It's over spiritualized. And I don't even say it like over spiritualized, but it's perverted.
Over Christianized.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Because
We need to
like
get away from all of that.
spirit-
That's witchcraft.
our spirit was strong. Our spirit was, like you said, about the Most High's business. So whether it was submitting and doing things and loving and caring, or whether it was the wrathfulness, like we are made in His image and His likeness. Like when He mad, you don't play with Him
at all.
But instead, we just want to tuck tail, run, turn the other cheek. Where are y'all getting this narrative? Like I said, y'all need to read between the lines.
That's why they took the Maccabees out. That's why they gave us a slave Bible.
Exactly. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, like it's so much like you say,
yeah, we know you ready for it. Like, and ain't nobody saying like we just ready to go like killing or whatever. We're not saying that. We're just talking about defending ourselves.
Exactly.
Like,
You're right here. These brothers right here, you understand? This is the original Black Panther Party. Because Panther is a lion. The Panther is a lion. It is a mountain lion, basically.
Yep. It's definitely a mountain lion.
That's the original Black Panther Party.
Yeah. Talking about that, what was that? Like all this slack, like that was prophesied. It was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because of the curses that our ancestors broke. So it was prophesied back then that.
Because even when we were in Egypt, bro, the Egyptians, like, they were scared of us, bro. Because, like, our numbers kept multiplying, and a lot of us were a part of their military, and they knew how bad we was.
Exactly.
Like, just like even now they know. Even so, like this, like people aren't thinking. There's a reason why all this DEI, all this stuff like happened to where they're getting rid of a lot of people of color, and even in the military. You got to understand warfare, bro. Like we got to start pulling these people back and get them into other type stuff, right? They can't be in upper echelons no more, knowing the ins and outs and stuff. This is warfare, right? Because they know that sooner or later, when America falls.
While doing that, they still got to get the
And by they, we talking about like the powers that should not be. Let me just be more specific, right? Oh man.
while they're doing all that.
Fair use for educational and training purposes.
They got to keep up that illusion, that strong illusion of like you can still be on the same level.
Yeah, because if people don't realize that America got a judgment coming by about to be 2026, like come on, man. And then now, so because like for some reason I couldn't get like any videos put in here, but y'all know what happened on Christmas, right? America bombed Nigeria. They claimed that it was because they were bombing ISIS and Islamists, right? But when you actually look at like I want y'all to go to YouTube, pull up articles of what the people are actually saying. There wasn't any ISIS people there, and there wasn't really Islamists there either. So they're bombing over there, and Trump, he's making all these declarations. He's lying, right? They're flat out lying. But we know that this is about oil and resources, because that's the only reason why we mess with Venezuela, because we want them oil rights back. And then they know that because Niger and Nigeria got all kinds of natural resources that America wants.
A lot of oil.
Like, well, okay, so America don't even like black people here. So why are you going to help, quote unquote, Christians over there?
Exactly.
That don't even make sense. Y'all took away DEI, affirmative action, Black History Month, all this other type stuff, and then y'all want to go help some quote unquote black people in Nigeria? That don't add up. And Trump's grandfather was from the KKK. He was a grandmaster. I'm just saying, like, this stuff don't add up, bro.
And not to mention that earlier we learned that a lot of countries in Africa was like they got their rights to their oil and gold, their natural resources back from France.
Yep. And
They
now,
just got it back.
so France is trying to get, and they're trying to get it back. America's trying to get a foothold in there. You see China trying to get a foothold, Russia, all of them trying to get a foothold over there. Bro, they're trying to keep us in perpetual servitude. That's all it is. Because how, even like, was it Abraham Traore and Burkina Faso, how was they only getting like 5% or less of all the money that was from all of, what was it? Was it gold or oil?
All that, it was like uranium.
Uranium. They're getting 5% or less, and like the other countries are getting billions, if not trillions of dollars, and they're getting basically pennies on the dollar. Like Africa literally has the most resources on earth. Like,
But the thing about it there, Moray, you gotta remember, man, the same so-called Negroes over there in Nigeria is the same ones over here.
I was just about to say that. A lot of us came from
because
there.
A good percentage of them bloodlines were tied.
Yeah.
Tied at the hip.
I'm telling you,
But,
if y'all ever do y'all's
same-
ancestry, y'all will see y'all got a lot of Nigerian blood.
Same damn mindset, and they still run the game, that same old Christian game, because those people over there, you might as well have a Brazilian statue of white Jesus over
yeah,
in Nigeria,
yeah.
just like down in Brazil.
Yeah, it's witchcraft,
You know,
man.
those, it's a shame.
Yeah,
man.
and especially
How sick our
in
people
Brazil.
are, man.
Yeah, it's
really is.
that stuff's got to go. Like,
Mental illness, man.
it is because, like, literally, like we just read about how they changed the image and the likeness of the people in the book. Like, this is just a pattern. It's what they do. And again, they make us love them and hate ourselves. We're just like, anytime you start seeing movements where we're uplifting people. Again, I told y'all, like I sent y'all that one little quick short, but there is no positive TV shows for quote unquote black people no more. You got to be a drug dealer, or you got to be trying to get into the rap game and do all types of homosexuality and all this other type of stuff. There is no more Cosby's. There is no more Family Matters. Notice there's no more Family Matters because they don't want our families to matter, right? There's none of that no more. No more hanging out with Mr. Cooper. No, none of that stuff where you see a positive. What was the one when they were in college?
Different world.
Different world.
They're trying to bring that back.
But if they bring it back, they're going to do exactly what they did with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They're going to pervert it. They cannot give us a holy image because once they do that, because we're already rising, the dry bones are starting to form. They're just trying to stop it from fully forming. They're trying to create a what do you call it, a deformed body is what they're trying to do, and it's just there's almost nothing you can watch. My bad. Go ahead, Ike.
No, it's just amazing that, like I said, the God we serve, you know, he can do exceedingly above all things. You know, he can take quote unquote lowly men and turn them into valiant warriors.
Mm-hmm.
He can take that, like I said, like he can take the 300 and make them do miraculous things.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they're doing, it's not gonna prosper. Like you said, we might prolong it, but we're gonna prolong it like with our disobedience. However, he's gonna run victorious. Like what you doing?
Rock, you so right, because everything that they've tried is literally backfiring on them. Like,
all the time.
like even like with Planned Parenthood and all this other type stuff and vaccines, and now they can't procreate enough anymore. So that's why they got to try to kick all these quote unquote illegals and all, like everything that they're trying to do, it just starts backfiring on them, and they're just trying to find. So they got like if you start, because I don't watch the news, but every now and then, I'll see stuff scrolling on down the screen when I'm trying to find stuff, and it'll be like, oh, this person's going to this think tank, and this guy's going to President Vance's think tank, and all these think tanks, because they're trying to find a way, any type of way to keep everybody else down, and it's not going to prosper.
You know, you said something about the vaccine, but you know, it's in our nature, quote unquote, you know, the southern black men, that we don't even trust doctors. You know, we don't even go get our own bit of help. That's also for a reason. You know, like we subconsciously do things because, like you said, like just to think they probably would try to kill us off a long time ago,
Bro.
and we never really trust them. You know what I mean? However, that's not saying give away your health or
Right.
don't take to your health, but that's why the fasting, the praying, the eating healthy, the working out. You know,
Yeah,
you
we
can
about to
just get out
start
there
that.
working in your garden, working on your vehicle, whatever you're doing, stay active, stay moving. But it's just like it's just amazing how the enemy, like you said, it does a lot of things, but it backfires.
Yep.
Like nobody said, when we serve a wonderful Yah.
Because, I mean, you got to think, like, we weren't really supposed to ever come out of slavery. And the Most High made a way anyway. We created all those different Black Wall Streets. The government literally bombed us, killed us. Do y'all realize that the lynchings didn't start until after slavery?
I can believe it.
After, so all those auto da fes didn't really happen until after slavery.
But they've been doing it then.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, way back then. But everything is just to try to hinder us and to keep us in fear. Another reason why the Most High does not want anybody operating in fear in the tribes or the assemblies is, what does it do to your body?
Breaks it down.
It puts you in fight or flight. You makes you sick. You definitely can't think right. You can't fully function. You gonna mess around and get yourself or somebody else in the tribe killed. So that's why it's got to be faith over fear. But they, again, everything that they have contrived is to keep us in fear. We're scared of everything, right? We don't trust nothing. We believe everything except everything that they say on TV. That's why I don't watch that crap. I don't watch their news. I'll see snippets on YouTube or whatever, but I don't see how in 2025, 26, how people can watch that stuff all day. I know of people that have that thing on the news all day. You got to think, how is it possible? Do they have, I'm going to say this, hundreds or thousands of news channels that are playing news 24/7? And they're basically saying the same thing.
Exact same thing.
So if people, you got to start understanding, that's MK Ultra.
They want different, people that look different attractions, different characteristics
So
to say the same thing. Well, I like that station, I like this one. But they're all going to say the same thing, saying the same thing.
And so we know that, and then AI is just coming up, right? We're aware AI is just growing. We don't really realize how far advanced they are in AI, to where all of this quote unquote news that's happening could be deep fakes. Even press conferences. You got to start second guessing everything. Okay, well, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let the dust settle for a little bit. I'm not just gonna jump just right into whatever they talking about.
They cut your lights.
What?
I think they cut the light, bro.
Are you serious?
It's on pause. It's playing with the pause.
Is it the camera?
No, it's the camera. Okay.
Oh, hold on. I don't know when the camera did that. Here we go. Hold on. I don't get why it would do that now, though. We were rolling.
It just froze for a while. I just looked at it what am I doing? But the voice, the audio still on.
Okay, well, I don't know. YouTube, and I don't know. I don't know why that's happening. But, no, I mean, we got to be trusting in the Most High. And it ain't about a skin color. It ain't about, because all skin folk ain't kin folk. It's about all those that want to do the will of the Most High, period. That's it.
I'm tell you something. A lot of times the blood, ain't even, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna forget.
Bruh, nah, man. They be the worst ones. Man, I don't trust you. Especially if stuff hits the fan, I'm not about to trust you neither. No.
One of the things that I was thinking about is,
Okay, so
my family, he was talking about going to, I guess, see that production with David, and it kind of hit me because I often had thought, because years ago, I think our brother Spike Lee, he wanted to do a remake of the Ten Commandments.
Yeah, they're not gonna let him do that.
And shortly after that, kind of fiddled out. You see, he didn't. His production, 40 Acres of Mule, and you don't hear a bunch of anything about it. And I got to think about, well, maybe Tyler Perry would do it. That's all. No.
Oh, that sellout? Ain't no way.
No way on it. But
he on the other team.
But going back with that David, I said, I hope that they don't go. I said, I can't support with these here these Ashkenazians with their production want to still here it is 2025 and the world knows who we are.
Yeah.
And yet you're still trying to.
Oh, they got to keep the illusion up.
You're trying to push the lie still.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I was afraid that y'all didn't go.
Oh, we didn't. We didn't go.
I'm tell you how wonderful the Most High is. Even in that, that's why I love the way bro break it down when we do have these moments. Because like you said, you play the thick white lie on it.
Literally.
But the truth still, it's like that ink bleeds through. You still see the truth. You still can see it. So no matter what they try to go, that's why I said God, God's so wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he do things, it be so subtle and in their face at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you said, all our warriors are playing sports.
Yep.
They be entertained in some type of form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But that's strength over the enemy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We have the actors, you know, that's persuasion over the enemy.
Yep.
Like all these things, like they try to do it this way, but the Most High don't show up. You know, anything that's worth mattering, that's worth having, is attached to us.
Yep.
And
Always.
although, like I said, like they gonna put that thick white lie on it, but we know who it is. And just take solace in the fact that, hey, the Most High got us. You know what I mean? Like what's his
The Maccabees.
the Maccabee, these folk, it was just, it took one. Out of all these people, it took one to say something that sparked some more.
Yeah.
And even in that, they had to shell out the ones that didn't make it.
Right.
But the ink, that black, thick ink bled through that white lie. So just take solace in the fact that no matter what they do, no matter how much they try,
We win in the end.
we gonna win in the end. That's all that
And when I say we, I'm talking about y'all's people, all those that
Like, all
believe
those
in the
people,
Most
you
High.
know, that's a shout moment right there.
Say what, June?
So
You gotta remember that man had his sons with him too.
Boy.
And he brought them up
Righteous.
the way of their fathers.
Right.
I love it.
Teaching them about the Most High,
Yep.
teaching them about the law, the covenant, all of that. Like, that's why we have to make sure that our kids are involved.
Yep. They gotta know. They gotta know their heritage. They gotta know where they come from. Not.
So they can take up and continue where we're leaving off from, where we left off from. They gotta pick that up. And
So-
keep it going.
And then now more than ever, it's our responsibility because they're not gonna be teaching anything like that in school no more.
No?
There's no more Black History Month, pretty much. At least at the federal level, most of these states are gonna follow suit. So when are the kids gonna learn about your people? You gotta start realizing when they're trying to white stuff out. That's what I'm saying. Like, if y'all don't have actual history books, because, like, I guess because the assembly is where most of our people will learn our history anyway. So, I mean, we'll just start getting lists of books that all of the tribes need to have, because it's going to be our responsibility to teach them the truth.
Teach your own people.
It's because they teach and fabricate. Like, most people don't know that more than likely Beethoven was black. Most people don't even know that. Like, it's debated, but that's not the image that they paint. Like, all of this stuff, it's like everything is just such disarray and backwards. You're just like,
It's arranged, is that all?
so all of the books prior to 1850 said that the Jews were black. Even that one book, Lost Tribes and Promised Land, said that the Jews and the Moors came from Africa. But all the ones 1850 and up, like they're telling this white lie. Because there was this, go ahead, there was this big shift.
I was just telling somebody, I forgot who I was talking to, that was like, the Middle East thing in Africa. I said, bro, I said, do you not know? I said, you know Texas and most of California was a part of Mexico at one point in time. I said, this is what they do. I said, that they draw lines and create things.
Confusion.
I said, if you look at the map, you know what I mean? And who just said that map was true? And he was like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I'm like, come on, bro, this is Northern Africa.
That's right.
Bro, we came out of Egypt. Like, the Israelites came out of bondage in Egypt. Egypt is in where?
Africa.
What are we talking?
And that's what I'm like, yeah, come on, man. Like I said, so, like I said, with the thick white lie, like,
Bro,
you can't refute
but
it.
look at the witchcraft, bro. So we were raised in the church, June to an extent too, but we were like preachers' kids raised in the church, and we be reading it, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all the Israelites coming out of Egypt, and we never connect that to Africa. Just like, oh yeah, because Charlton Heston and the Ten Commandments, they made sure that they got that covered with Charlton Heston, and because of that movie, we would never think that. Wait, why would they be in Egypt at that time frame? When we know that the Egyptians, emphatically, the ancient ones were dark skinned.
And it's so crazy. Instead of them, like, what they should have did was change the name of Egypt. But instead of them doing that, they trying to change the image of Egypt. Come on, man. So you putting all these light-skinned folk.
You destroying all the noses?
Come on, man.
The nose, bruh?
I said, y'all.
The nose.
Went back home. I went home for Black History. I went home for something, but it was during Black History Month, I want to say. And we was at church. And my auntie, she got up and said, did y'all not know it was black people in the Bible? And I'm saying them some. She was like, Moses was married to was it Egyptian?
Kush.
Or like, the Egyptian said Moses was married to a black woman. And I'm like,
Or Ethiopian, yeah.
I said,
He was?
that's auntie. Like, after church, I said, you do know Moses was black.
Dang.
I'm thinking you taking this another way.
Yeah.
And you was like, just a little solid. Like, no, like, put the whole scene.
Put all everything, get that thing
Put it
right.
all on there. Like, come on, like you said. Like, do you not know how did he, when he put his hand in his bosom and it came back white as snow, that was a form of leprosy. I said, how was that, like, what were they comparing it to? So if he was not black, why would he be white as snow? Like, come on now, auntie. Oh, she ain't like that. She did not like that.
What'd she say?
I forgot, but I know she didn't like it.
Hold on, you do know that those people that's over there in our land, they got the highest
Yep.
skin cancer rate
Yes, they do.
in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna get up out of there now.
It's
What do you
coming.
think is doing that?
They gon' the Most High. That's why I said we went in the end, cause
I don't know. I don't know if the original people didn't have any kind of skin cancer rate.
no, it's because of that melanin. Like that stuff is just so wild and crazy, man. Like talking to my mom the other day, like the lengths that they've gone, just and continue to go, just to try to keep the illusion. It's literally like we're in the Wizard of Oz. And what we thought was the good witch is really the evil one. Like everything is just witchcraft. It don't. Again, they came out of Egypt and settled still in Africa. They were mixing with Canaanites, right? I don't know, bro.
He
This
was able to hide.
in Egypt.
And
When Joseph, I think it was when Joseph died, and then they were mourning. They said that they couldn't tell the difference between the Israelites and the Egyptians, or what was that? Was it Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob? It's one of them.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah, the Israelites and the Egyptians.
Yeah, like the stuff, man. But because they control the media and because we're so trusting, that's why I always tell people, you don't know none of those people on the other side of that TV.
But you know, it's not just here, because, like, you got all governments are compromised, not just.
Yeah, no. Oh no, they've come together.
You know, when Netflix was gonna do the Cleopatra bit.
Yep.
And,
Yeah, I know you're going on that, yeah.
the government of Egypt ended up putting a lawsuit against
Yep.
Netflix because Netflix was getting an all-black cast.
Because who runs Netflix or owns Netflix? We know the game, bro. We know the game. Because like right now, they're scrambling. Like matter of fact, whoever's trying to buy Netflix now got stopped because of something, and Trump's involved in it. And now really like it's like this Jewish consortment of wealthy people is trying to buy the major networks right now. And they're trying, matter of fact, I think Netanyahu said that they're getting ready to buy TikTok, so be careful. There's going to be changes. They're adding propaganda to be more pro-Jewish to it, but the Jewish people are buying TikTok, so it's going to be a lot of changes in the future. I'm telling you.
I have Netflix now because it's free. I stopped paying for it a long time ago because it was every show was just about witches or
Yeah, it's insane.
more whitewashing of other things, and I was like, no, so I'm not going to continue to support this, so I stopped paying for it.
Bro, they had us believing the Lone Ranger was white. I'm just going to say that. Like, I grew up watching it. Like, that used to be one of my mama's favorite shows. And then, you know, find out Bass Reeves was probably about my complexion. It's just, yeah, like it's, and he was bad. He was bad just as the show said he was, but again, they can't give us positive images because they already know.
They got
No, I know. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet.
the player, Harder They Fall.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, they did. They did. That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, they did that one. They did that one. But go ahead, Ak. Let's get through this.
Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress until he had cleansed the sanctuary. So they were still fighting while he doing meetings. Like, nah, y'all go out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still having meetings.
He set up an order, gave them instructions. Like, we gotta take care of the sanctuary.
So he chose priests of blameless conversation such as had pleasure in the law, who cleansed the sanctuary and brought out the defiled stones into an unclean place. And when as they consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profane, they thought it would be best to put it down, lest it should be a reproach unto them, because the heathen had defiled it, wherefore they pulled it down.
Right.
Well, like, just get rid of that. That's
Yeah,
unclean.
yeah. Let's do something different.
And laid up the stones into the mouths of the temple in the covenant place.
Convenient.
Convenient place. Until there should come a prophet to show what should be done with them. So
They got him out of there, but they put it like in the mountain of the temple in a convenient place. So, yeah,
So that was pretty much waiting on instruction from Most High.
from Mashiach. Mm-hmm.
Then they took whole stones according to the law, and built a new altar according to the former, and made up the sanctuary and the things that were in it within the temple, and hallowed the courts. They made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought the candlestick and the altar of burnt offerings and incense and the table. And upon the altar they burned incense, and the lamps that were upon the candlestick they lighted, and they might give light to the temple.
So-
that was that right there. That's not what they was.
That's a menorah.
I know I'm saying, but that's not what they was bringing in there, right? They was bringing like oil lamps and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, back then, things was a lot more different way back then. But you see that they had to get rid of the old altar. Again, that's what we're supposed to be doing: tearing down the old ones, bringing in new ones. This is also a season of rebirth, because we're supposed to be born again to Mashiach, right? Conform to His image and His likeness, right? Because He's revealed to the people as Mashiach during the Feast of Dedication. People don't understand the importance of this day. So it's about the salvation of the people, but it's also about being conformed to Mashiach, because, again, this is a revealing type of a thing, right? And we're supposed to be revealing that thing to our families and loved ones and whatnot, right? So we'll keep going.
Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table and spread out the vials and finished all the works which they had begun to make.
This is why this is for 8 days. Keep going.
Now on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month, what's that?
Caslu.
Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning, and offered sacrifices according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings, which they made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profounded. Even in that was it dedicated with songs and, what's the word?
It's supposed to be cisterns, but cisterns.
Cisterns and harps and cymbals.
So it's the same day when they profaned it, I guess the year before. It's the same day that they started rededicating the temple. Right, keep going.
Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising Elohim of heaven, whom had given them good success. And they that kept the dedication of the altar 8 days, and offered burnt offerings with gladness, and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise.
So they did that for 8 days, praising the Most High.
They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold and with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed and hanged doors upon them.
So I want to say this again. The 8 days has nothing to do with the candle not burning out, right? They kept it for 8 days, right? Because, again, that represents a new beginning. Because, like, you get the whole 8 days with the candles from the Talmud, right? We don't follow the Talmud, right? Okay.
Moreover, Judas and his brethren, with the whole congregation of Israel, ordained that the days of the dedication of the altars should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days, for the 25th day of the month Caslu, with mirth and gladness.
Now this predates Christianity.
I was just
So the 25th day of Caslu is when the Feast of Dedication is supposed to be. They give you Christmas on December the 25th. There's always a counterfeit. There's always a counterfeit. This predates Christmas, right? Okay.
And that time also they burned up two Mount Sinai and high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down as they had done before. And they set there a garrison to keep. What's the garrison?
So it's like you got a troop of soldiers there to keep it safe.
And okay, gotcha. They set there a garrison to keep it and fortified Bethsur to preserve it.
Against who? Keep going. Keep reading.
That the people might have a defense against Adonijah.
Yeah. So they was helping. That was in that big, large number. They were.
Also, they did count up. They did this place. They counted up.
You can't trust Esau. You can't do it. So we're gonna stop there today. June, you mind praying us out?